Hello. I've just finished a meeting, I've got my lunch break, so I thought I'd hop on and make you a quick video. This is exactly how I set my goals to make them actually come true and come into reality. Now, let me explain why you should probably adopt this framework. So, one of the main reasons why most people's goals fail, their New Year's goals, like New Year's coming, why people fail in their New Year's goals, they go on for maybe 1 month, 2 months and then quit, why people will set such ambitious goals and never achieve them, is simply because they forget them, because they're not in their mind all of the time. Think of it, you've probably set a New Year's goal before, New Year's resolution. Maybe it was to start your first business, maybe it was to post your first video online, reach 1,000 followers, maybe it was to finally land that software engineering job, something along the lines of this. And for about the first month in January, you wake up, you look at the goal on your walls, or you look at the goal you've written on a piece of card, and you look at it every day. You're motivated, you're working towards it. But over time, you slowly stop putting in the effort. Whether it's things come up in life, whether things come up in life. It could be family, it could be friends, but things take you away from your goals. The framework I'm about to reveal to you, about to tell you, is one I learned from an ex-Premier League football club mindset coach. Worked with a bunch of big footballers about 20 years ago. But I met him on a plane to Tenerife when I was journaling, reflecting on life, goals, how I feel about work, the purpose of things I'm building. And I was setting goals around badminton. You know, I play badminton. And he dropped some sauce. So let's begin. I actually just finished my journal, so I will be doing another video on how I'm setting up my new journal. It really does tie in with the goals, but I'll just go over the goal framework now. And for you to set your goals, you're going to need two things. You're going to need some red dots. You probably noticed I've got red dots everywhere. And you're going to need some nice card paper. This is the card that I use to do the handwritten notes when people buy journals. So we're going to start with normal goal setting in the subconscious. So when you set a goal, what most people do, what I used to do, is you're going to say, I will do X. I will do Y. I'm going to run a 5K. My goal is to run 5 kilometers in under 30 minutes, in under 35 minutes. My goal is to win my first badminton tournament. My goal is to reach 1,000 followers. And the issue with this is you're setting the goal in the future as if it has not happened, when really what you want to be doing is setting it in the definitive. Setting it in a present moment sometime in the future, and it is the day. It is the 31st of March and I've just signed my third high-ticket client. It is the 31st of March and I've just started my software engineering job. It is the 31st of March and I've just won my first ever men's singles badminton tournament. You want to write them in the definitive, so it's kind of like they've actually happened. So for an example, let me grab one of my goals and I'll read it out to you. Yeah. Sorry, I've got a clapping with some card. Yeah. This is the one I set on the plane to Tenerife when I had essentially a 2-hour masterclass with this mindset coach. It is the 31st of January 2026 and I've just won my second men's singles badminton tournament. I see my opponent collapse to the floor in front of me. I feel the gaze of the crowd. I can feel the heat radiating off my body, the sweat dripping off my brow. A drop runs down, goes into my mouth. It tastes salty. Taste of hard work, grit and determination. I see the crowd cheering, but I can't hear them. The world tunes out as my racket falls from my hand and I drop to my knees. And tears begin to fall from my eyes. I can't control the emotions, but I've done it. This is the most beautiful feeling. Notice how the goal is set at a definitive time in the future. It is the 31st of January. And I haven't just said, I've just won my second men's singles badminton tournament. I go into a lot more detail. I go into the 5 senses. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? I can feel the heat radiating off my shirt. I can feel the eyes of the crowd on my body, but I can't hear them cheering. I'm so tuned in, so focused on the present moment. I feel the drop of sweat run down my brow, goes into my mouth, tastes salty. Dropping to my knees, feeling the tears. And you might be wondering, Ben, why are you going into so much detail? Why are you setting a specific day? Why do you need to do all of these things? And if you just wanted a goal that you could wake up and look at in the morning and be done and move on with your day, you would probably just say, oh, my goal is to win a badminton tournament. Cool. But that's not actually going to have any impact. It's not actually going to change your life. It's not going to change the way you think, the way you act, the way you approach life. This is where we get onto the subconscious. So the way the subconscious mind works is you can't really take no for an answer. So the analogy Ray used, the one he explained to me on the plane, is it's a bit like when you play pinball. Pinball machines, old arcade games, you kind of tap some buttons on the side and flick a ball around. And essentially what happens when you try to cheat, when you try and shake the machine and move the ball into the hole to get more points, it goes into this thing called tilt mode. It goes into overdrive. It makes the game so much harder. And what Ray told me is essentially we want to put our subconscious mind into tilt mode. Every day when I wake up and I read my goal, it reminds my conscious mind, it reminds me of my goal. But then, this is where the red dots in. As I'm going about my day, I'm not consciously thinking about my goal. I'm not looking and reading my goal and being like, yes, I'm going to win this badminton tournament by this day. Everything I do must work towards it. No. But by having red dots on the tip of my pen, on the cover of my journal, on the back of my phone, on the inside of my work laptop, on the outside cover of my work laptop, on my wallet, on my keys, on everything I'm carrying around with me, each time I see this red dot on the front of my journal, I'm reminded of my goal. Oh, yes. The goal is to win a badminton tournament, to win my second men's singles badminton tournament by the 31st of January. And then maybe something happens at work, you get dragged into a meeting, or you're at uni and you've got a long lecture, and then, oh, you're just writing your notes in the lecture and you see the tip of your pen. Oh, yes. That was my goal. And when you first start, you're going to notice it a lot. You'll notice, oh yeah, you consciously notice. You'll notice, oh yeah, there's that red dot, that was my goal. There's that red dot, that was my goal. But over time, for me, it's been about 2 months now, I don't notice the red dots anymore. They're just normal to me. And that's the place we want to get to, where consciously, you're not thinking about your goal. But your subconscious mind, every time it sees this red dot, my mind is reminded, oh, your goal is to win your second men's singles badminton tournament by the 31st of December. 31st of January. Wait, and then it looks at you in the current moment. Oh my God, bro, you've only ever made it to the quarterfinals. You actually haven't even, like a month ago, it's like, bro, you haven't even booked a tournament. You're not even doing any tournaments. You haven't been doing enough training. You haven't doing all these things. And because your subconscious mind sees these and it's like, bro, you haven't done any of the things that would move you forward. It's like, okay, right, we'll just take some action. Right, you need to book the tournaments. Okay, cool, I booked 3. You need to start doing some training. Okay, there's no training in Southeast London near me for singles. Let me set up my own training regimen. Done. Right? And you start slowly taking the actions. It's like I'm in the office in the afternoon. Like back when I started, one of my favorite things to do was get a Twix at about 3 o'clock from the vending machine and some mango. What would a semi-pro badminton player do? What would Ben a year from now when I'm playing international circuit think? Well, it's probably best to get a chicken burger from Leon instead of a Twix, right? I want the protein, I want to be recovering. And you'll subtly take those actions. And you might be thinking now, but Ben, I've got multiple goals. I've got goals around fitness, yes, and sports, but I also have one about like business. I want to start posting videos, I want to start my own business. Maybe you want to start something similar to this, physical product, or maybe it's coaching. But then you also have another goal around career. I don't want to just go all in on my business. I want to have the stability to be able to kind of build with a backbone. So I'm not completely dependent on social media, right? You know, Ben, but I have all these goals. What if am I only allowed to set one? No. You can set multiple, and that's why this card is important. You'll notice how I have 1 dot here, 1 dot here, and another dot on the back. This is actually an old goal setting card. I'll get onto the new one in a second, but essentially what you want to do is really no more than 3. No more than 3 goals, because at that point your mind can't really focus on them, and really you want 3 goals for the 3 separate categories of your life. One is the physical aspect, the body, right? The goal is to get better at badminton, to do this. Right, the next one, this is about my like stability. I want to be professionally fulfilled. I want to get that stability in my life. Okay, maybe if you're currently working in uni, you don't have that job, you don't have the stability yet. It's, right, I want to land that internship. I want to land that spring week. I want to get that graduate role. That's what this is about. And then the last goal might be around creativity, might be around spending more time with family. For me, my current goals are, for the updated sheet, are to win the badminton tournament. The next one is to sell out of the spring drop of Dream Journals, which will come in March. And I've got 2 clients onboarding with me for one-on-one coaching. And the third goal is I've won my first hackathon. I've done a couple, never podium, but I really would love to win one. I think that'd be so beautiful. But it's the notion that you want three essentially complementary goals that are moving your life towards this kind of same direction, that don't overlap, that don't detract from your focus. I think I've covered it. I may not have gone into the most detail, but in summary, to break it down, the reason why your current goals are not working is because you're not setting them in a definitive, you're setting them at a vague point in the future, and you're not remembering them, being reminded of them throughout the day. You look at it once in the morning and then you go to work and you're distracted. You go to uni and you're distracted. You go to work in your retail job and you're distracted. You lose sight of your goal. And what you really, really want to be doing is to set a goal that is in the definitive. There's a definitive point, a moment in time. You've gone into the detail of all your five senses. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? What is the emotion? Visualize it. A truly great goal should be visceral. You should be able to read it in the morning and be like, man, that is the most beautiful feeling when I win that tournament. Like when I reached the quarterfinals in my first ever Badminton England tournament, it was that visceral feeling. I couldn't stop this big beaming smile come across my face when my ex-coach ran on, gave me this big hug. Like nothing could match up to that feeling. When I overcame my fear of selling online and launched Dream Journals and made 180 quid in sales. 7 journals, that's 7 people's lives, 7 people who are chasing their dreams. Your goals have to be visceral. And then the red dots. You want your goals to have your subconscious mind working in the background. Your subconscious mind is probably your most powerful asset because it can work while you sleep. It can work while you don't even think you're working at all. If you've got any more questions about goal setting, about how you want to do your goals, just ping me on Instagram, DM me literally. I'm happy to help. Like I'm fairly busy with work, but I can find time to have like a genuine conversation with you guys. Like my whole purpose with all of these videos, with the personal brand and everything, is to help you create opportunities to build a life you want to live. Because I'm literally living my dream. I mean, you can go, I'll put it at the end in a card, but you can go and watch a video of like my story from being a lost, confused 18-year-old starting uni to like this whole crazy journey, startups, a bunch of stuff I did, and then kind of coming to where I am now. Software engineer, small business, content, completely aligned with my purpose, and like life is so good. But feel free to DM me, Instagram, ask me questions, happy to help. And yeah, chase your dreams, set some good goals. Like I love a good goal, I'm sure you love a good goal too. And yeah, all the best. And if you do set a goal, if you do follow this, send me a picture of your goal. Like send me a picture of this is my goal that I've set, and I'll make another video, probably not now, maybe in the new year, about what to do when you don't meet the goal, right? Like a big part of setting these goals, you set them in the definitive, but what happens when it gets to 31st of January and maybe you haven't won 3 tournaments, you haven't won 2 tournaments, right? How do you feel? Like, oh man, I've worked so hard, but I haven't done the thing I set out to do. It's okay. The key is to focus on the process, let go of the outcomes, and enjoy it. The goal gives you something to work towards, but it's not the be all end all. I hope you watched the end because that was true value. Okay, bye. I'll see you in the next one.